What's happening now? We're about to send you back to the future!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Back to the Revuture, the show in which we take a classic film that one of us or both of us might not have seen and we take a look at it now. I'm Amber Inch.
And I'm Drew Bridger. Yay! You always know that when we do it this way round, we go, yay! Afterwards, that usually means that Amber has done an intro, and if Amber's done an intro, then it's one that she's picked, which you were saying for a while was something of a rare occurrence.
What was? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you always pick the films, and they're always rubbish, and they're never ones that I like.
Yeah, you always pick films that you don't think I'm going to like for some reason, and then wonder why I don't like them, or I'm miserable about the film.
Well, no, I always pick... No, here's the thing. I always pick films that, well, I hope that you might like, in the hopes that it's something that will spurn a new craze, if you will,
it's
for you.
It's worked a few times. Few times.
I just don't think we're going to capture that Karate Kid magic for you again.
No.
Like episode 2, we did Karate Kid, and it's just like nothing has hit the same since.
Episode 2?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Episode 2 we did
it
the
went
Karate
downhill
Kid.
fast.
Wow, yeah, I know, right?
Well, I know, but the Goonies for the first episode was alright, and I thought, oh yeah, because people have been going on about that a lot, so that's a film that's kind of you kind of expect to like that because of how popular it is.
Absolutely.
But I didn't expect to like Karate Kid purely for the fact that it's called Karate Kid, and I was just like, I'm not interested in karate, so I just didn't think that I was gonna like it. But man, oh man.
Man, oh man.
I was wrong about that.
Did that turn things around quick?
We're going to make a... we were talking about this before. We're going to make a line of merch that's like, I'd rather be watching, and then put in your favourite film in it. So I'm going to be saying, every time I go to the cinema, it's going to be like, I'd rather be watching Karate Kid. I'd rather be watching this. Now,
this was an idea that we were talking about right before the film that we watched for this episode. And at the top of this show, I do want to say, much like our last episode, oh boy, we are still in the midst of a heat wave at the moment. It is hot.
It's not as bad, but it's still quite bad.
It's died down. It's died down a lot, but it is still, at night, and it's still 19 degrees C.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Now, there are going to be people all over the world going, oh, if you think that's hot, then you should be here in this place this time.
But I'm not.
And it's like, okay, great, but what you forget is that the British infrastructure of the way that we build houses... I wasn't brought
up in that place, so I'm not used to it, so it's different.
Houses in Britain are designed to keep heat in.
Yeah.
Because we have insufferable winters every winter. We are by design, our houses are meant to keep heat in at all times. In a heat wave, that's not what you want. No. So if you can hear our little fan going again, whee! There he is, off there cheering us on. Thank you, little fan. Then that's probably why, because again, much like our last episode, we'd rather not die on air.
Yeah, of heat exhaustion.
Yeah, I mean, it might be funny while it happens.
It's not that funny.
I might start hallucinating or something.
If you can't see us, then it's not going to be funny.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I just thought I might say some really crazy stuff right before I pass out. I don't know, and make for good content.
Oh, like people would even think anything was different.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, crazy stuff like, hey, let's watch the Police Academy movies.
Oh, don't even stop. Yeah, why you even make me watch that? Racist pile of poo.
Well, hey, look, I'm only ever looking for things that will try and capture that Karate Kid magic again, in the hopes that something like that.
You thought that Police Academy was going to be the film that would capture the Karate Kid magic?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what kind of things that you'll find funny.
Even the new Karate Kid didn't capture the Karate Kid magic.
No, that's true. That much is true. The next Karate Kid didn't do anything for the Karate Kid. Is that what it was called?
No, it's just called The Karate Kid.
Oh, the Jaden Smith one, the one
Yeah.
that doesn't exist.
Oh, you were talking about Hilary Swank.
I was talking about the Hilary Swank one, the one that does exist but no one acknowledges.
It wasn't that bad.
The Jaden Smith one doesn't actually exist.
No, because
It's a figment of people's imagination.
it's not even karate. So.
No, it's not.
But I feel like we had to go through that to get Cobra Kai because Will Smith helped Cobra Kai, kind of
Yeah.
like some part of his money or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
So
This, it was kind of necessary to get to this point.
it was a necessary evil that we had to live through. But yeah, we were talking right before we watched this film that we're going to do for this episode about merch ideas and how great it would be if this podcast eventually got to the point where, hey, people want to buy t-shirts with stuff we've said on them. And as much as I love the idea of still having our RoboCop t-shirt from episode 5, 6,
Oh, I don't
think,
know.
where it's RoboCop, but he's got a bright wicker hat on and a flowery lay around him, and he's on vacation, but it
Yeah.
says, it's crime o'clock somewhere,
somewhere.
as a tagline.
I mean, that's good.
It is great.
Even if you don't listen, even if you haven't listened to the podcast or listened to that episode or whatever, it doesn't matter because as soon as you see the visual of RoboCop on holiday, like that, it's just fun.
It just instigates
Doesn't matter what it is.
a meeting of two worlds.
Where it's from, it doesn't matter.
RoboCop goes Hawaiian.
Yeah,
It's still crime o'clock somewhere, though,
yeah.
which is the point.
He's still on the clock, like it's his job. He can never turn
exactly.
it off.
It's like if RoboCop met Magnum PI.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's relaxed, but it's still crime o'clock.
it's crime o'clock somewhere.
But do you want to explain your series of t-shirts?
well, I kind of already said it.
Well, no, because there were 3 that you wanted to do.
Oh well, no.
For different scenarios.
I was just saying for my situation, not for anyone else. That's for my situation.
Right.
Like, but they could be like, you would have to do an array of films so that other people would buy them.
Oh,
It
sure.
couldn't just be the ones because nobody would buy the ones that I want.
Well, that's not necessarily strictly true, because the joke is that these are films that you would rather be watching. So if they
Yeah.
are merch for the show, it would make sense.
I know, but you'd want a shirt that was a film that you would rather be watching, like personally.
Maybe, but I'm so much of a fan of you that I would wear these t-shirts
No,
regardless.
that's just weird.
So, the 3 that you... So they're all basically around the same concept of you're going to see a certain film, but you're wearing a t-shirt
Yeah,
that
if you're
says,
going to
I
the
would
cinema-
rather be watching.
Yeah. So if you're going to the cinema, so if I was going to see like a kids Disney film or something, or a kids film like that, we don't go and see kids films very often, but if it was something that was a bit more family friendly,
Pixar.
some type of Disney thing, yeah. Or, is there a new Kung Fu Panda film?
There's always
Or
Kung
if
Fu
I go to
Pandas
see
coming
the,
out.
Go to see the new Minions movie.
Minions!
I'll be wearing. It was I'd rather, wasn't it?
I'd rather be.
I'd rather be watching Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. See, this would it?
Always with Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. Always.
It wouldn't say. I don't think I'd want it to say Flintstones though. I think I'd want it to just say I'd rather be watching Viva Rock Vegas because I think that would be more funny.
Yeah.
It's like not funny,
Yeah.
but I think people would be like,
Because if people get the joke, if people get that reference,
or people are just
they
think
go,
that I was trying to be
"Is
an
that a
Elvis fan, but it just went
Flintstones?"
wrong.
is that a Flintstones reference? I'd be like,
And
yes,
then
yes
if
it
I was
is.
going to see any, this is the one that I actually want to do though. Like
Okay.
I actually want to do this one because this one's so it would make me laugh if someone else did it like a lot.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what film, it would just make me laugh. If I went to see a comic books like superhero, that type of film,
Yeah.
have a shirt that says I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2 on it because like that would just be funny. I just think that would be funny.
It peaked at
Like
Spider-Man.
every time you go
Can you imagine going to see The Batman and wearing a t-shirt that says I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't
It's
do
not
that.
even the same comic book franchise.
But that's funny though. Don't you think that's funny? If like it doesn't matter what film it is. If I went and saw like the new Thor film,
Sure.
and somebody walked in wearing a T-shirt that said I'd rather be watching Guardians of the Galaxy or something, like that would make me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it would make me laugh. I mean,
It's like
it would just
if
be...
I'm saying, like, I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2 because it just makes it seem like it hasn't gotten any better since then, and that was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2 because, like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, it all started because you said you wanted a T-shirt that you would wear to every single film that you went to see at the cinema that just said, "I'd rather be watching Elvis."
But I mean Elvis the well, I suppose it doesn't really matter.
I mean, in any
Not really.
concept, really.
Yeah. The whole reason why it started off, this is a snippet into my weekend. It's like, it's Larry, my weekend. And so it was a Saturday afternoon, and I could have been going out and having fun and doing stuff.
Of course.
I was inside.
Sure.
I just finished a rubbish Netflix documentary.
Sure. As about 50% of the documentaries on Netflix are. They are hit and miss.
Well, okay, yeah, maybe. But, I mean, it's fine. Anyway. And I was cleaning the bathroom, and
Sure.
while I was cleaning the bathroom, I had on some songs, and Elvis came on.
Oh, poor Cinderella.
That's not even what I was
No,
saying.
I know,
was
I'm
just
joking.
explaining what
I know.
happened. And some song, and as an Elvis song came on, and in my head, I was like, oh, I should have a T-shirt right now that says I'd rather be listening to Elvis, or like I'd rather be. And then I thought, no, I'd rather be watching Elvis, obviously. And
Yeah.
I was like, when I go and see any film, I'm just going to be wearing that T-shirt. It's not difficult to make it. It costs like 20 quid.
No, absolutely.
It's so easy.
Absolutely.
And then I thought, well, I like Spider-Man 2 a lot, and going to see a comic book film saying I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2, like, that'd just be so funny.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I'm trying to think of what context you could be wearing one that says I'd rather be watching The Karate Kid.
That's any.
Or Cobra Kai.
No,
or
that's
something.
any.
Any situation.
Yeah, that's any. I just need a couple of these T-shirts I can just like whip out at any time.
Now, I find it interesting that your exposure...
I go to Universal Studios and it says
Yeah.
I'd rather be at Disney or whatever, like something like that. Would
Oh, controversial.
be so funny. I
So
wouldn't actually wear that because I do
controversial.
like being there. But
Yeah, no, of
it was
course.
it's just like a funny thing. Like, I'd rather be blah 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 when you're doing something else.
Absolutely. Now, I find it funny that you had such a take to Elvis, the film. And I know that we aren't really a podcast for current films, and we will get to the film that we are watching for this episode shortly. But this is housekeeping, if you will. This is stuff that we want to, like, get through for housekeeping. But that was your first exposure to Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah, it actually was.
Yeah, and
Because,
I think
when I was in school, I was school age. It was school when did that film come out? Like
What?
99 or something.
Which
it was
one?
in Romeo and Juliet.
The Romeo and Juliet movie, yeah, that was late 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
I want to say. Something around that, because it was while Leonardo DiCaprio had just been in Titanic, so everyone was...
Oh, yeah, and that was like 6, 7.
Yeah. So I think it was after he did Titanic, and everyone was still really into Leonardo DiCaprio as a leading guy. And I was thinking maybe we should be... Oh, no, it was 1996.
Oh, okay.
It was 1996, so
Did
it
he
was
do that
around...
first?
That might have been... Yes, he did. Yeah, because Titanic came out in 97.
Oh, I got it wrong way around.
So much for us remembering things correctly.
Oh, I was 6. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I was in school. I wasn't in school at that age when people were talking about it. I was in, obviously later on, probably like 5-6 years later, when I was like 12, 13 type thing, and people were still talking about it then and saying how good it was. And I remember watching a music video from the one of the songs in the film,
Right.
and all that sort of stuff, and I was like, oh, this looks weird. Wow, who wants to be watching Shakespeare? No one. I'd rather be watching Elvis. and yeah, and everyone went on about it, and I just never
20
watched
years
it.
before the film was even a concept.
It happened to... I wasn't talking about the film at that point.
Oh, okay, right.
It
fair
happened
enough.
to Moulin Rouge. That's the good thing about that T-shirt, though, because you could say Elvis, and people would just be like... People would either be like, oh, she really wants to watch the Elvis film that's come out because it's really good, and she loves it, like that, and yes. Or... oh, she really loves Elvis, she'd rather just be watching Elvis, the man, hashtag trademark the man Presley. And both would be true.
Elvis, the man Presley.
Both would be true.
Yeah.
Unless I was going to see a reboot, well, not a reboot, but a cinema reboot of Spider-Man 2. That's the only time it wouldn't be true.
Right. You'd
But
still
then I
rather be
couldn't
watching
watch,
Spider-Man 2.
I couldn't wear, I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2 than him.
No, well, you could, but you'd be doing it really ironically.
I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2, which I am.
Yeah, you'd be doing it like I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2, the original version.
No, but I didn't mean a reboot. I meant like...
Oh, like a re-release.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like a cinema re-release.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, again, you could be doing it ironically. I'd rather be watching
suppose.
Spider-Man 2, which I am. This is the one time it works.
It's just fun.
yeah.
I just really want to do that now. I'm going to do it.
So
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. So as with our last episode, if you do want to have some of this merch available at any point, and we decide we'd get popular enough that you can make this happen, much like having feedback for the official, unofficial Lizzie McGuire podcast coming in, which I would like to point out at this point, we have had precisely 0 feedback on. Which means, no, but that's a good thing. Because at this point, it's only going to take one person to tip the scales in either direction.
People aren't saying don't do it.
No, they're not saying don't do it, but they're not saying do it either, right? So one person has the ability to tip the scales, all right? So if by the point that we decide, oh, well, we'll take a collection of who's voted for what at this point, and that one person has gone, yes, do it, that's all we need. So, think about it. Do you want to be that one person?
We don't need a vote from other people. We can just do what we want.
Oh, yeah, I know, but, we need to know if there's an audience for it.
No.
If
we
there's
didn't
an
know
audience
there was an audience for this, we just started it.
If there's an audience of one person, then it's still okay. That one person will get a real kick out of the official, unofficial Lizzie McGuire podcast.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear us spitballing around some more merch ideas or things that you would want to get, then absolutely let us know on hashtag BTTRpod with merch yes or merch no. And also suggest what t-shirt you would have of a film that you would rather be watching, that will be your cinema going t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like for me it would be like, I don't know, I'd rather be watching Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
I'd rather be watching Pacific Rim.
Oh.
Every time. Like, because here's the thing.
That's funny because you actually have to put on t-shirts like terrible films. That would be fun.
Well, alright. I mean, I'm not doing it to be
Imagine
that
if I-
ironic.
No, but that's why it's funny because like the film that you like is actually a little bit like.
But here's the thing, it has to be a film that you watch and no matter what, you know it's going to be a good time. Like
Yeah.
it's a guaranteed good
Spider-Man
time.
2.
Yeah, because if you're going into a film that you haven't seen before, there's no guarantee it's going to be a good time.
No.
So you could say like, I'd rather be watching Spider-Man 2 because I
Yeah.
know it's going to be a good time.
Because I know it's gonna be good, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know
exactly.
I like it.
So, this episode, as we already established, it is Amber's once again turn to introduce me to a film that we haven't seen before, and we're hopping back in our way back machine only a mere 20 years. Seems like a really short jump compared to some of the ones that we've been back in, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we established pretty early on that a film can be considered a classic if it's over 20 years.
25, I think I said.
Oh, did you say 25?
Yeah.
I thought we were going by car rules where it was like a
Yeah,
20...
25.
Oh, is it? Oh.
I think that's why I said 25.
Okay. Well, I still think this is a cult classic. I think it can still count.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really met anybody that's actually watched it, but I haven't asked.
Oh, it was a
so.
big deal in my friend group.
Was it?
Yeah, when
Why
we
didn't
were
you watch
younger.
It before then?
I just never did. I just
Oh,
never did.
that's
But we are
weird.
heading back to the year 2002. What film are we watching, Amber?
We are watching Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Aye,
Aye, aye. So, yeah, and what made you want to introduce me to this
I
film?
thought that you were going to really like it, and I thought you were going to laugh the entire time, but I heard you laugh like 2 times. It baffles me that you laughed twice in an hour and a half of this. Like, every single thing that happens is absolutely hilarious. And, like, I thought you were going to be laughing, like, all the time.
I mean, I thought that I was.
You thought that you were
I thought I was laughing. I
Oh.
found it funny. I was laughing a lot.
I didn't hear you.
I wasn't okay. I wasn't exactly like gut busting laughing.
Like,
but
I thought, so it got into like the first 10 minutes and you were like really laughing at that guy's voice like straight away, and I thought, oh yeah, he doesn't even know what's coming yet, this is gonna be so good. And then no laughing until like another hour. It, like, you didn't laugh until like 20 minutes before the end.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I did think it was a funny film. I did like it. And I don't know why I haven't seen this film before, because it does play into my love of classic martial arts movies as well.
Not really.
Like, it does. Okay, I mean, not entirely, but it does a little bit.
So I don't really like those films, but I think this is hilarious.
Because there were a lot of films like the one that this uses as its basis.
Yeah, that's probably where it got their
to, you know, that I did enjoy watching. I did watch some real classic 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s martial arts movies.
Yeah, but you watched good ones though.
I did, but I also didn't.
Oh.
I did also watch a couple of ones that were airing. Okay, so let me take you back to some heady days. Back in the days where we only had 4 channels on TV, and Channel 5 had just been introduced.
I don't remember those days.
Okay, so Channel 5 used to do real late night kind of film marathons, like triple bills, as it were, of similar genre films, and it'd be different ones every Thursday night, Friday night, whatever. And there were a few nights where they were doing really old Asian martial arts movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine. I'll record them and just watch them back, because they're real late night ones.
Yeah.
So I'll record them and I'll watch them back on my VCR. That's what we were talking about here, okay? So yeah, I did end up watching some pretty obscure ones that were just kind of really out of the left field. Really were a little bit like, okay, you've got to get your head around some of the idiosyncrasies that are involved in these films. So yeah, it did actually play a little bit into some films like that I had seen. But what in particular about this film have you loved for so long and wanted me to get down into it and watch?
I feel like every time you ask me, so why did you choose this film, or why did you like this film, my answer is always just, I don't know, I just like it. Like, I can't give an answer, because it's just like, there's no formula for me. Like, you say, oh, I like things that are robots fighting or whatever, and then you see a robot fighting film and you're like, yeah, I like it. You're just gonna like robot fighting films, right? But for me,
I mean, you've basically summed up Pacific Rim, so
yes, thank
you.
Power Rangers, like that sort of
course.
thing. This is what I'm saying. Or like you say, oh yeah, I watched a lot of martial arts films, that's what I'm interested in. So if somebody said, oh, this is actually a really good example of a martial arts film, you'd probably like it.
Sure.
And you like it because you like martial arts films.
Sure.
But when you ask me, why do you like this film, or what films do you like, I don't know the answer, because I don't know. I just watch a film and I like it or I don't. It's like, oh, I get this feeling from it and I like it, and that's it. And I can't explain why. Like, I can't say, oh, I like horror films, because I would watch like 10 horror films and one of them I'd like.
Right. Okay.
Or
which we've done before. In the heady days of when we would all get together as friend groups and do horror-thons.
Yeah, but this, or like,
maybe one of them would be good.
Yeah, well, I could like a couple of horror films, but it doesn't mean that I like horror films. So like, you're going to show me, you know, that type of thing. Or like somebody says, oh, I'm really into musicals, and they just love pretty much anything that's got singing or good songs, right? But I'm not like that. I like Singing in the Rain and I like Grease, but put me in front of like some blooming like Chicago or something, and it's like, no, no.
Right.
You know, like I can't explain why, and like I don't want to say about Viva Rock Vegas because I know we use it as a joke because I go on about it because it's a bad film and I like it and we keep talking about it. Fine.
Okay.
But but I do genuinely, without even irony, no joking, actually like that film. And
Yeah.
would sit down and watch it and actually enjoy it as a film. And like, I'm not saying that it's good film, well acted or well written or whatever. I'm not even saying that.
I don't think anyone would.
I'm not joking. I'm not making a joke out of it.
I know you're not. And I know that this is a joke that we keep going back to. I know that it's a joke that I keep making about Viva Rock Vegas, and yeah, you'd rather be watching Viva Rock Vegas. I get it.
Yes.
But genuinely, like, hand on heart, you love that film.
I actually love that. And it makes me laugh because, like, I know it's not a good film. It's not a good example of it's not a good film. But and this is what I'm saying. I can't explain why I like it, but there's just something about it that I really like. I don't even like Flintstones. Ask me to watch the first. If you get me to watch the first Flintstones film, I don't even like it.
Right.
I don't like it. Or watch Flintstones cartoons. No, I don't like them.
No.
I don't like it. So I genuinely don't know.
So you don't even know where the love of it comes from. This
is what I'm saying. Spider-Man 2. Like, I'd watched other comic book films before. Didn't like it. And then I watched the first Spider-Man and I was like, I watched some of didn't even watch all of it, some of the first Spider-Man. I was like, that's fine, I guess. And then I watched Spider-Man 2 in the cinema for whatever reason. And I was like, this is the greatest film I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know.
This is brilliant. Where's this been my whole life?
I've been like, right, obviously, okay, this is it. This is my thing. I'm a superhero movie person now. And then go and watch another superhero movie and I'm like, oh, no, maybe I'm not. Like, because it's just...
If only we could just figure out what that magic pixie dust that goes onto these particular films is.
I know.
And just figure out what that actual winning
and
formula
like,
is.
That film was so good. That film was amazing. And I'm like, oh yeah, it was fine. And then I go and watch Elvis, and I come out and I'm like, I've never seen a film so good in my life. This is the best thing. This is everything to me now. I would die for this film now.
God, you watch one film and you make it your whole personality.
And everyone's like, it is a really good film. No, you don't understand.
No, you don't understand. I don't like films, but I liked this. That's how good it is.
No, you don't understand. I love Viva Rock Vegas. You don't get it. And everyone's like, oh yeah, like, no, I think it's called Viva Las Vegas, like the one without. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have Elvis in it. It doesn't have anything to do with Elvis in it. It's got nothing.
Let me correct you.
Do not talk about Viva Rock Vegas like it's Viva Las Vegas. It's not.
No. I think we will actually need to do an Elvis movie for the podcast at some point. It might have to be one of his bigger ones. I don't know.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
Yeah, I know.
It was just because people wanted to look at him. That's it.
That is true. That is true.
I'm sorry to say, there was just stuff that he did that nobody cared about. It's just because they wanted to look at him. And I don't like saying that now. After watching like the film, like I don't like it now. It's ruined it. It's ruined everything. But it is true. It's true. It's just true.
Yeah, I mean it is a little bit.
Viva Las Vegas though, we should watch that.
We should. Maybe we should. Maybe we'll get to that at some point.
That's fun. That's okay.
But your history with Kung Pao is somewhat long and involved.
I didn't realise it came out in, would you say 2002?
2002, yeah.
I didn't realise it came out then, because I think when I watched it, I thought I was watching it and it was old, kind of. So I thought when I watched it, I was like really behind and it'd been out for ages. But actually, I think by the time I'd watched it, it'd really only been out for like 2 or 3 years, a couple of years.
I guess, because there's Matrix references in it. So
yeah,
it must have only come out not too long after The Matrix, which was 1999.
Yeah, no, but you said it was out in 2002.
Yes, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So, but by the time I saw it in like 2003 or 4, I thought, oh, this was a film that was made like in the 90s, and but yeah, I didn't think about the Matrix thing really.
Yeah.
That didn't kind of cross my mind, because when I was watching it, it was after the Matrix. So like I didn't even think about that really. But for some reason, yeah, I thought it was a film that was a little bit older, and I was just kind of watching it quite late. But actually, I wasn't really.
No.
It was quite recent.
But this is what was referred by you as a road trip movie
What?
or something. Because you said, didn't you used to say that you had Kung Pao Into the Fist as a film that was in your dad's van or something all the time?
Yeah, I had a DVD player and a little TV. You know when you used to get the portable DVD player?
Yeah.
I had one of those. And this is what I used to watch. Because I don't know how he found out about it, just in general, I don't know. He watched martial arts films as well, so maybe it just kind of cropped up somehow.
Maybe.
And I don't know, but whatever happened, and he saw it, and then he told me that I should watch it because he thought that I'd really like it. And I watched it, and I was just cracked up the whole day. Like, I just couldn't, I can't believe you weren't literally crying the whole time. Now I know how you feel when it's the other way around.
Yeah, finally. Shoes on the other foot now, isn't it?
It's just funny. It just makes me laugh so much. And like my whole teenage years after that, it was just everyday quote in this film to like something. And now it's been a long time. It's kind of fizzled out a bit, so it's not really happened for ages.
Okay.
But like there was like a time, like a good couple of years, when we were like just like. I have to say, you know who my uncle is, but I have to say it is my uncle for the purpose of this. But like me and my uncle would sit in the back of the car and just talk in these quotes. Like there would be no other words mentioned. It was just every sentence that we said to each other and how we communicated was the lines in this film.
You were just reciting the film to each other.
But it wasn't obviously word for word, or like, well, it was word for word, but it wasn't from start to finish the film. It was literally just, we'd think of something and then we'd say it, and then the other person would think of something and they'd say that. God. It's just, I don't know.
I bet that got annoying after the first 5 minutes for everyone else in the car.
Yeah, probably. Doesn't matter though, does it?
It doesn't matter to me. So, as we do every episode, the person that hasn't seen the film gets to say what they thought the film was going to be about before having watched it. This is honestly the latest into a podcast episode that we've done this bit, but it's okay because we are here now and it's all right. So, do you want to ask me the question?
What did you think this film was going to be about?
Okay, well, I mean, I obviously thought it was going to be like a spoof of martial arts movies, and I thought, okay, it's going to be him acting and taking the rise out of martial arts movies, but there's probably going to be like some actual like martial arts bits in it as well. What I didn't realize, and you only really kind of figure out how clever it is at the point of the end of the film where they show you how they did it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how clever it was that they had taken so much old footage and repurposed it into this film.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole film. He just
redubbed it, and I thought that they might have a redubbing cast for some bits that they used.
Yeah.
So they would have different voices over different people. It's all him.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was just like, it was all him doing different voices.
The beginning credits is him and 2 other people, and that's it.
Yeah. I just thought, this is absolutely crazy. And the fact that they can superimpose him onto the film so well.
I mean, it's a bit crude, but like, I don't think that's kind of also the charm and like comedy of it. It's just, it's a little bit off.
Yeah. Like, I feel like this was a film that got made on such a tiny budget.
Yeah, I think he just had, I mean, I don't know anything about it at all. I literally know nothing about it at all. But if I was to guess, I'd say that he actually liked those types of martial arts films and was doing it.
I would
not in like, he wasn't like
that.
taking the mickey out of them to be horrible and say, oh, these films are rubbish. I think he was just genuinely like, these are the funny things that happen during these films, and I'm gonna kind of bring it to attention. Type thing, you know. It's kind of like an observation of what those films are like. Yeah,
and the way that people act in them.
Yeah. And
the odd things that happen in scenes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, there are a lot of things like that do happen in these kinds of martial arts films. Like things will happen in the middle of a scene out of nowhere, and it'll just be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. How come that happened for no reason? But yeah, the budget was estimated $10 million.
Most of that was like the effects.
Which was, I've got to say, like 10 million is actually not a lot to make a film with. And I think you're right. I think a lot of that was...
And getting the rights to show the other film.
Yeah, and and being able to use the footage from Tiger versus Crane Fists, which I actually want to go and watch now. I actually want to watch that film.
Tiger.
Birdie. But yeah, no, I mean, this guy doing all of the voices over it all and him being superimposed into it, I was just like, okay, this is absolutely mad.
Yeah, he
and
just had the idea and just wanted to do it.
And I think you're right. It is, in a way, it's a love of these other films that he just wanted to be in one but make it a comedy.
Yeah.
And I think that without this film being what it was as far as cult films go, I think it still would have come around, but I don't know if Kung Fu Hustle would have had as much of an overseas audience as it did.
Yeah.
Because Kung Fu Hustle was made as an actual martial arts comedy film in Asia. Like, it was made as that.
What is that one again?
It's
what's the one where he plays table tennis?
Oh, no, that's... Wait, what are you thinking of?
Yeah,
Balls of Fury?
Yeah. That's funny, though.
Yeah. No, that's not the one that I mean. I mean, the Kung Fu Hustle is an actual legit martial arts movie, but it's a comedy as well.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, Jackie Chan martial arts movies had an element of comedy to them.
Yeah.
But they weren't always, like, out and out slapstick comedy all the time.
No.
But this was something a little bit different, I feel. I liked it. I did like it. I liked it a lot, actually.
Okay.
I do have to say, because now that I'm thinking back over it, and I'm thinking about how, for the most part, I can just picture this Steve Odenkirk guy who's directed
Is he in relation
this.
to Bill Odenkirk?
Might be. I don't know. That might be something to look up. I feel like I could just picture him making a majority of this in his basement against the blue screen for the effects. You know, with the microphone in front of him, just recording things. Yeah, I feel like it's for the most part.
It's just so funny. I'd like. He just sat and watched one of these films and did some voices, and like his friends laughed, and he was like, I wonder if other people would actually enjoy this. And then he just made a film out of it.
I like to think that this whole thing came around by him and his friends being really, really drunk one night, putting on an old martial arts movie, but it didn't have the sound working on it, so they were just there filling in the lines themselves.
Have done that as well, and been like... so many times on holiday normally, because they show really odd things that you can't understand anyway. Not odd things, but they show it. I don't mean odd, but like when you're on holiday abroad, I think one of the times it was maybe either Greece and one of them was like Tunisia or something like that, so we can't understand the language anyway.
No, of course.
But they put on things at like kind of late-ish at night that's like old 1940s detective films, like strange things that you wouldn't imagine to see,
right.
Like they're dubbed or subtitled or whatever, but most of the time it would be dubbed, so you couldn't read what there was. It was just like putting it on mute and like narrating and doing what he's doing, like commentating just for comedic effect, and we would just do that. And there'd be times on like a Friday night when like a Bollywood film would come on, and we'd just like turn the sound right down, and just like my dad would just be like commenting and making voices exactly like this film, and it was like so funny to me. Like for some reason that humour just really makes me laugh, so that's why I like this film.
Because I mean, the storylines in Bollywood movies are already pretty bizarre anyway.
And obviously, this guy knew what was coming because he'd seen the film, but he had never seen any of these films before, so he was just doing it like out of the cuff, like off it out the top of his head, which kind of made it funnier because even he was like, "What? What was happening?" But yeah, it was funny.
We interrupt this show to bring you a brief word from our sponsors.
Amber, I would like to tell you about Greenbird gift baskets.
Cool.
You're interested?
Interested.
Excellent, I'm glad you said that, because Greenbird Gift Baskets is a small local business based in Southampton offering gourmet gift baskets beautifully hand-wrapped in biodegradable cellophane. They use products from small local businesses wherever they can and are perfect gifts for weddings, birthdays, baby showers, or simply as a thank you.
We are passionate about supporting small local businesses who offer delicious products and share our values on sustainability. There is a selection of baskets available online, Greenbird gift baskets at square.site, and all baskets are totally customisable for dietary needs and tastes.
Greenbird gift baskets offer sweet, savoury and mixed baskets as well as picnic boxes, and prices start from just £25 for a gift basket. Amber, they can even add wine or fizz for an extra special touch.
Collection is available from Southampton, or they can deliver to surrounding areas. So visit Greenbird gift baskets at square.site and check them out on Facebook and Instagram at Greenbird gift baskets.
Oh, and make sure to tell them that Back to the Revuture sent you, yeah?
And now we return to your regularly scheduled programming.
There is a certain amount of talent to do something like this and go, oh yeah, I want to do this because I think it'd be funny. And I think other people will find it funny as well.
Yeah.
And
You've really got to work to keep it up for the whole film as well. Because,
yeah.
I mean, I'm saying, like, we wouldn't watch an entire hour-and-a-half film and do that. It would be like, oh, look at this, like, 10, 15 minutes of this film, and it would do it there.
Sure.
It wouldn't. But this guy's got to keep it up the whole time.
I want to do that now. I think we should try and do that as a supplemental to this podcast.
I think it's got to be organic.
It does. I don't think you can force it.
We weren't expecting it to happen, and it just happened, and it was just so funny.
Yeah, you can't force things like that. It'd be interesting to do as a supplemental part of the podcast.
Yeah.
To just have a random film on and fill in the script ourselves. Try and figure out what the plot line is. I mean, we could do it on, like, Instagram or TikTok or something. We don't have a TikTok for the show.
No, we don't.
But we could, do it on Instagram or something and just see how it goes.
It's just funny.
We wouldn't be able to keep it up for the full length of a film.
No, that's what I mean. You do it for, like, 10 minutes and it's still funny.
Yeah. But, I mean, now here's the thing. There was a clip of this film that I actually had. So, let me take you back a while. Alright, so it was in the early days of the internet. Yes. Back when it was still dial-up. Alright?
Yeah, okay.
Now, there was a culture back in the early days of the internet of sharing clips and sharing online videos of like animations and stuff like that. Basically things that people have made in the days of Flash animation.
Yeah.
So it'd be things like Homestar Runner and Weeble and Bob.
I love Weeble.
Weeble and Bob was the big one. So there was an element of downloading these, putting them onto flash drives or whatever, sharing them around friends, or going, oh, hey, I've made you a collection of funny videos. Oh. Alright? Like, I've made you a collection of funny clips, stuff like that. Basically, in the days before YouTube was what YouTube was.
Yeah, you had to manually share it with people.
It was a manual, like, hey, I got you this clip of this. Or, so the big example is Star Wars Kid. If you remember Star Wars Kid. Because people started adding effects onto it and adding different bits and pieces into it and putting backgrounds behind him. So you were sharing all of the videos around with your friends. Like, oh, have you seen someone's updated the Star Wars Kid video? No, I haven't. Oh, I'll put it onto a file for you and do it. So I had a folder on my computer that was just funny videos, funny video clips. I didn't know where they'd come from. I didn't know what the context was. I didn't know anything about them. I was just given them by friends or family members and just said, hey, you gotta watch this video.
Yeah.
Just watch it. Like when you sit your friend down in front of a YouTube video and go, hey, watch this video.
Yeah,
but
and they literally never laugh. Like,
Right.
you expect them to find it really funny. You're sitting in the corner, like, wetting yourself laughing over it, and they're just sitting straight-faced watching this video as if, like, when's the funny bit coming?
Exactly.
And you're like, oh.
And then you realise that that's killed the humour between the
Yeah.
two of you. But one of these video clips was the fight scene with the cow.
Oh.
It was the whole fight scene with
Like,
the
I
cow.
don't find that bit funny. I think that could be taken out of the film and it would be fine.
I mean, yeah, there is that, but imagine having not known what this film was or that this film existed at all and watching that entire scene purely out of context.
Yeah.
Out of context to anything else, it's hilarious.
I'd probably think that was like an advert or something.
I thought it was as well.
Yeah.
And I think it first started circulating as like, oh, this is like a weird advert for this brand of milk
Right.
or something. And I was like, is it?
No,
I don't
it's
think
not.
so. But I think it was circulating in a thing of videos that I had of spoofs of The Matrix
Oh, okay.
or something. Great fight scenes that spoof The Matrix.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I saw this one and I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. Like, it's actually a good fight scene. This is amazing. And it's like all CGI and stuff. And it was only years later that I learned that what film it was from. And
Was
so
that,
I
was
now...
that, was years later today?
I don't think it was... No, it wasn't today. No.
Oh.
I figured it out eventually. The guy on the cover, I'm like, oh, hey, that's the guy from that
Oh,
video
okay.
that I... Oh, must be the film that it's from.
Yeah.
Oh, like, I get it now. I get it. But, yeah, I mean, seeing that in the context of the whole film now, it is a bit like, okay, I like that fight scene, but I do agree, like, it's really out of context to everything
But I
else
guess,
in the
I
film.
mean, that's just what he's doing. It's just odd. It's just strange things. Oh, but it just makes me laugh. I just love all their voices and like all the things that they say that's like so unnecessary. Oh, it's just so funny.
That's a lot of nuts!
It's just so funny.
I mean, it is. There's lots of stuff in this film that I did find very funny, and I think that I feel like if I'd watched this film when I was a little bit younger, I would have enjoyed it even more because
Yeah, like I was 14, kind of that age when I watched it.
yeah.
And
Well,
it was so funny.
I mean, maybe not even that young, but I mean, if this had run as a double bill with something like Anchorman when that first came out, that
yeah,
would
I
have been
feel like
peak
this
for
film
me.
is starting Will Ferrell's thing. Like Will Ferrell just took everything from this film.
I mean, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because there are some lines in it that are just like, oh, that's a little bit of a Will Ferrell line there.
Oh yeah, the whole thing.
Like, what are you the chief of? The Big Brown Nipple Society?
The large brown nipple people.
Large brown nipple people? But yeah, I like that there was actual martial arts in it. I like that they mixed in an actual martial arts movie.
Yeah.
I liked that. But yeah, no, I mean, and you say that I wasn't laughing.
I don't think you were.
I actually was. Like, I was laughing.
Don't you hate it when people say that to you though? It's annoying, isn't it?
I wasn't, like I said before, I
thought
wasn't...
you were going to be laughing and you weren't even laughing, and then you think you've had a good time and laughed, and somebody says you weren't even laughing, and you're like, oh, it's really annoying.
So there were some moments in it where it really took me by surprise what was going on, and it was mainly at the start with the voices being dubbed over. I was like, oh, okay, it's obviously this one guy that's doing all of the voices, and I'm like, okay, fine, that's hilarious. Like, he's just having to do every single voice.
Yeah,
in
you really
this
laughed
film.
when he first started talking. And that's what I thought it was like the whole time.
Open the mouth. It was just such an unexpected voice, you know? So I didn't expect that. And it was when things really took me by surprise that I was like, oh, that's funny. And, you know, when he's going around and seeing everyone that's dying in the forest, and he's basically just doing this big circle. But any time that they were clearly reusing footage immediately over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's great.
That
yeah.
makes me laugh so much when he's running through the field and he's going, I'm coming, and then it comes back to him and he's going, I'm coming,
and he's
it's just the
further
same,
back.
yeah, and it's those same two things every time. It's just so funny.
So yeah, I was definitely laughing through it. I think I would definitely watch it again. It was a good time.
Yeah,
It was a good time.
even though
It's a good party movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you got a bunch of people around and you're not sure what to put on because you don't necessarily want to watch a film that you've never watched before because you might want to take it all in if you're at a party
you
or
don't have
whatever.
to pay attention to the plot on this one, do you?
No, exactly. But you can stick it on, and if people haven't seen it before, they can sit and watch it and you don't have to think too much about it. But if you have seen it before, it's like, oh, I love this bit. Oh, I love this bit. Oh, this bit.
Yeah.
So it's like a great party film.
I just think it's good. Like, I know I've said, kind of gone on about it, but actually I've really in my life only watched it the whole way through probably 3-4 times, like not that many times. I don't watch it over and over again.
That's more than most people watch most films.
Well, I know, but
you know?
I mean, like today was probably the 4th time.
Yeah.
The whole way through.
Sure.
And in 20 years, that's not very much if I'm going on about it all the time. But it's so memorable.
It's because you were too busy watching Viva Rock Vegas.
Obviously. I don't have time for anything else.
It's just on a constant loop all the time.
In my head.
All the time, every day. There's a tiny little TV.
I'm literally picturing it now.
It's a little... Oh, and I like to imagine that if it was in real life, it would be exactly like what it's in your head. And inside of your head, I imagine that it's one of those little combi TVs that you used to have in your bedroom. Do you remember when you had the combi VCR TVs?
Yeah,
like the tiny little ones.
Oh, mine was... Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's one of those, and it starts off all staticky, and then it like... like the soundtrack kicks in.
No, it wouldn't have been on it wouldn't have been on video. It's on DVD.
Oh, you had it on DVD.
It's not that old.
Right.
It's not that old.
I thought you might have had a VHS copy.
No,
I don't know.
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I don't have a TV pictured in my head. It's literally just like the whole thing that I see in my head is the whole frame, all of it.
Oh, you're watching it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no frame. It's the whole picture is just in my head.
Can
the
you
whole time.
imagine if they reformatted Viva Rock Vegas to IMAX footage?
I wonder if it ever went to the cinema.
Probably.
I don't know why though.
I don't imagine it would be a straight to DVD deal.
No, probably
Not with a Baldwin in it, surely.
Stop.
I like that you think that I'm taking the rise out of it there. I was being serious. With a Baldwin in it, they probably would have sent it to...
What? But he don't even... What? He wasn't even the main Baldwin though.
Don't tell him that. He doesn't... He thinks he is.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a Hannah Montana tattoo.
We went over this.
I know, but...
We went over... I think it was
don't
even in
feel-
the last
I don't feel
episode. I
like-
don't know.
I don't feel like it's said enough.
I think it needs to be circulated more. That's what we need to have on a t-shirt.
I don't know what...
That's what needs to go on a t-shirt.
Have you seen Stephen Baldwin's Hannah Montana tattoo?
No, it just needs to be the statement on a t-shirt, Stephen Baldwin has a Hannah Montana tattoo. That's just a fact. That's a fact that people just need to know.
I can't imagine wearing that as a t-shirt though, even me, I can't imagine
It'll be on the back. It'll be on the back of that I'd rather be watching Viva Rock Vegas t-shirt. On the back, at the bottom of the t-shirt, it just says in really small print, Stephen Baldwin has a Hannah Montana tattoo. And if people get close enough to read that, they find that fact out and they go, wait, hang on. What?
I don't even think most people know who Stephen Baldwin is nowadays.
I mean,
I don't think they do.
well, by proxy of him being a Baldwin, you'd think, you know.
No, he's not popular now. And who wants to watch The Usual Suspects? Doesn't make you want to rip your own head off.
We're not going to go back to revisit.
No, we're not.
And you're like, it's
No,
okay.
we're
We won't go back on that subject. I know how much
it was so disappointing to watch that after we watched Reservoir Dogs. That was really disappointing.
Yeah,
I watched Reservoir Dogs and actually really like. This is the thing. Well, I mean, it's the same for everybody, I suppose. Like you say, oh, I've watched 2 films from this one director, so I'm obviously going to like all of his films. That's not the case, but like there are just some Quentin Tarantino films that grab me and that I really like, and then other ones are like, well, yeah, it's fine. Like that's just the way.
Yeah.
That's just the way, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, not every director is batting 1,000.
No, exactly.
So,
No, but I mean,
well, except Kevin Smith. But no, I mean, okay. Even Kevin Smith would say that he's not batting 1,000.
No, he definitely
so
would
that's
say that,
okay. It's okay to say
But-
that.
I mean, yeah, but it's still like, I mean, a lot of his films are still good. Like he still does really good films, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like he has really rubbish days when it's like, oh no, that's a doozy, like that's bad. It's just, oh, that's kind of long. Like you know, that's just the only reason why. Well, it's just a bit long.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it feels like it went on for a little bit, but there was no bits of it that were bad. So it's like, I guess it's still a good film.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of the best films.
Yeah, and I'd rather be watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Literally, and that would look so good on a t-shirt as well because it's like a good title.
Yeah, and then you could wear that to any other Quentin Tarantino film that's made.
Oh, I'd get beaten up probably.
I think he might be quitting films after like the next one that he does. I think he said he's got one more in him,
Right.
and that's it.
I mean, he's been doing it for a long time.
But yeah.
But yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean,
I'd rather be watching Once Upon a Time in
I
Hollywood.
literally loved that film. It just grabbed me and I just loved it. I just liked that film.
And this is the thing. This is what I'm trying to do. And this is why I showed you things like
because that
The
was so
Usual
surprising.
Suspects.
You were like, oh, should we go and see that film? And I was like, oh, okay. You wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Why did you want to see it? I don't even remember why.
I wanted to see it because it was the new Tarantino film.
Oh, right, okay. So then we went to see it.
I literally was just
and
like,
it was
I
just
want to
like,
see this
oh,
film.
blah, blah, blah. And I just came out and I was like, I love that film. That's like just one of my favourite films I've ever seen.
And this is
And
exactly
you're
the
like,
thing that I'm
"What?
trying
Really?
to figure
That's
out.
so surprising.
Because while not everything can be Kung Pao or The Karate Kid or Elvis or anything like that for you, alright? Surely they can't all be The Usual Suspects or Police Academy. And this is what I'm trying to do. I am just trying to figure out where the bar is. I just want to know what the rules are.
This
I
podcast...
just... I just want to know what the rules are.
This podcast
I just want to know where the level
start
is.
as you on a mission to find good films for me. It started as both of us wanting to watch films that would surprise other people if we'd said we hadn't seen them, right? But
Absolutely.
But it's now turned into your like number one aim to find me another Karate Kid or whatever. It just hasn't happened.
Well, no, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, absolutely, this podcast started out as us watching films that it would shock people to know that we haven't seen before, and I do still think that we are doing that for the most part.
That, yeah.
And we do have some.
But I mean,
films,
like you've got a side mission now that
Yeah.
you keep trying to.
We've got some films lined up. They are in the chamber, ready to have the trigger pulled on them, for films that are gonna
Even
be
though
like.
I literally said to you, I don't want to watch any more Tom Cruise films, and the first thing that you mentioned was a Tom Cruise film.
All right, fair enough. So
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
no more. All right, so no more Tom Cruise films. So no, we won't be doing Cocktail. We won't be doing Risky Business. We won't be doing Days of Thunder.
No.
Okay, fine. As established in the Top Gun episode that we did, they all follow the same plot line anyway, so it's
I just
okay.
don't want to.
It doesn't matter. Right. So we do have some that are lined up that are going to be like, I can't believe neither of you have seen, or one of you hasn't seen, blah.
Yeah.
Right? But anytime that I do feel like, oh, I can't believe that you haven't seen The Never-Ending Story, because that was a classic childhood film for a lot of people.
That's fine. I wasn't born in the
Like,
80s.
no,
so-
exactly. But it was a classic childhood
rubbish
film
80s
for
away
a
from me.
lot of people. anytime that doesn't land well, and you go, no, it's just boring. Like, I really didn't like. I feel like, oh man, now I've got to make up for having shown her that one by trying to show her a really good film. So now I'm just like, I'm perpetually in a circle of like, oh, I've got to make up for showing her Police Academy. What can I do to make up for that one?
I don't know the formula though. I don't know it. I don't know. I really liked The Godfather. Really liked that film. But that isn't surprising because pretty much everybody likes that film.
Yes.
Like, you can't find a person that's watched Godfather and gone, like, everybody that's watched it, everybody that I know that's watched it, has said that it's just, like, one of the greatest films.
Yeah.
That's just it.
And to give a sneak peek as to one that is coming up, we are, believe it or not, approaching the time of our second podcast anniversary.
Okay, so
a second
now we have to watch
podcast
Godfather
anniversary.
Part 2.
So we do have.
It's over 3 hours long though.
It is 3 1/4 hours long. It is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
So we're gonna set aside.
How long was the first one?
First one was like 2.5. I think it was like 2.5 hours. But as we said on that episode, do go back and listen to our Godfather episode in preparation for the Godfather 2 if you would like. But we did say in that episode that it didn't slow down at any one. Like, I didn't feel like any one part of that movie wasn't necessary.
Like, non-stop good stuff.
Like, there was no part of that movie that could have been trimmed and not felt like you'd lost something.
No, because they'd already trimmed down the book, like, quite, not a bit, but like a certain amount.
Sure. Exactly. I just realised that it is so far into this episode. We haven't even done Is the Trivia Worth the Time? Oh, this is interesting. To create the effect of bad dubbing, writer Steve Odekirk wrote a script of nonsensical...
Odekirk, not Odenkirk.
No, No, so they're different people. Wrote a script of nonsensical dialogue for the actors to say. The real dialogue was dubbed during post-production, but for example, when Chosen One says, "But isn't Betty a woman's name?" If you read his lips, he says, "But isn't Yahtzee a family game?"
Yeah, I thought he was saying things backwards or out of order.
That's so funny.
That's what I thought he was saying. He's probably just like mouthing whatever he feels like.
Some of the trivia for this is literally equally as random as the film itself. When the camera is positioned above the waterfall, the RMS Titanic can be seen in the water below. Why? Why is that a thing?
It's just so funny. It's just stupid stuff that he wants people to notice.
That is so crazy. That's so crazy. But yeah, so I'm now forever trying to find that magical pixie dust of...
I honestly don't know how to explain it. It's like, I really like Aristocats. Aristocats is like... Okay, so I've kind of got... I know Disney and Pixar are the same thing now.
Sure.
Pretty much.
Sure.
But when I was growing up, they weren't the same thing.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So I've got the Pixar film that I love and could watch over and over and over and over again, even though all Disney films are great and I like them and could watch all of them, but there are those particular ones that I'm just like, yeah, I could watch that like again and again and again and still love it, and a lot of them aren't like that for me. So Toy Story for Pixar, the first one, which I just really like and could watch that just non-stop.
Okay.
And then Aristocats is like the original Disney animation film that I love, and I don't like cats.
No, you're not a cat person.
Hate cats.
I find it
Well, I don't want to say I hate them because I don't want them to be harmed or anything like that.
No.
But I would never have one because I just don't trust them and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable around cats and I keep spitting everywhere.
You feel uncomfortable around them.
I feel uncomfortable around cats.
Okay.
So why is the film about cats my favourite film?
But that's because you had a cat scratch you once and you've never really trusted it since. You've never really trusted a cat since you got scratched by one.
But it wasn't just like a random cat on the street or anything.
No,
it was somebody's cat. So it wasn't as weird as it sounds.
No.
But yeah, since then I was just like, I was just trying to be nice to it and I didn't realise they did that.
Yeah.
And that's when I realised that they were just really unruly and would just do whatever. They don't care about batting you or scratching you or harming you at all. They don't care. So, and I don't like that type of wild attitude.
No, because you've already got that kind of wild attitude. So if that meets with something else, it just clashes. It never works in harmony.
I don't like the unpredictability of it, and I don't like getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'd have that in my house.
Okay.
But yeah, so Aristocats is one of my favourite films, and I don't even like cats. This is what I mean. It's just odd.
Just finding
There's just something about some things that I mean, I don't know. Like, it helps if it has Johnny Depp in it, but it's not like the be all and end all of it.
I'm gonna end up.
I haven't even mentioned any Johnny Depp films in the films that I really like.
No.
To be honest, no.
No. Other than Rango.
I just
I
don't know why, but I've got a special thing about
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I did like that at the time, but it hasn't stood the test of time for me though.
No. But Rango, however.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Do you know, this is the thing. I'm gonna end up with a cork board for this podcast, and it's going to look like a conspiracy theorist's basement, because I'm going to have a picture of you in the middle and all of these films that you've really latched onto going out with like red string in a big like web going across. One going to Spider-Man 2, one going to Viva Rock Vegas, one going between the two of them with a big post-it on it going, "What's the connection?" What? And like one underneath you going, "What does it all mean?"
But I mean, really,
you know,
I just don't know.
I am forever going to be chasing this magical formula.
I honestly don't know. Like, there are loads of films that I've watched over the years. Like, I kept watching Nightmare Before Christmas, kept watching Corpse Bride, kept watching like Edward Scissorhands, those types of films when I was growing up. They're not ones that I would say, wow, I love that.
Yeah.
They're not ones that have the thing. They're just films that I've enjoyed watching.
Right.
So you have the films that you've enjoyed watching, and then you have the ones that you would want to watch over and over again that you just loved. And I can't tell you, sorry.
No, I think with me it's slightly different, because most of a majority of the films that I watch because I'm not just putting something on for the sake of it, for just anything. It's like, it's a film that I want to watch, and I'm either extremely disappointed in it and I was like, oh no, that was terrible, or they are all just varying degrees of good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, yep, this one was good, 3 stars. This one was good, 3.5 stars. This one was good, maybe 4. This one was good, 3.5 stars. Everything like that.
I mean, maybe you just
varying
like
degrees
watching
of good.
films.
I just
the thing that you like to do.
Part of me is just like, I just enjoy the experience and the process.
That's fair enough.
That is. And I do agree, every so often there is one that comes along that I just go, well, that was really good. That was right up my street. That ticked every single box.
What was the last one you saw that was?
What was the last one that I saw that really ticked every single box? Jeez. I think I'll have to think on that one. I don't know. I think the last one was maybe Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, okay.
I really like that one. That one was like borderline top level everything.
Yeah.
It's rare that I give films 5 out of 5 stars, because 5 out of 5 to me is literally, this is a perfect film.
Could not get
I
better.
would not change anything. And I think the last film that came out that was like that I was like, this is perfect, start to finish, no problems with it at all, wouldn't change a single second, probably Baby Driver. I really dug that film. Yeah.
Oh.
I know, but again, it's just like out of nowhere. It's just like, wow, okay, all right, fine, cool.
I'm kind of not surprised that you're saying that, because everybody said that was a really good film. The only reason why I'm surprised is because I haven't really heard you talk about that film.
Well, it's just because I do sometimes also feel like if a film is that good, and I've watched it like a couple of times, it's like, great, it is that good, I don't need to keep watching it, because I can appreciate how good it is, and I'll break it out every so often and remind myself of how good it is. But I'll leave it so that it's, because it's so good, I don't want it to like lose that impact.
Yeah,
so I need to
that's
like
the
forget
thing.
about it a
Yeah,
little bit,
that is
and then
true.
go, hey, actually, this is like, let's remind
I never
myself.
sit down and put films on.
No.
Never.
No.
I just don't.
No.
The last time I did that was... Oh, actually, I did it the other day.
You did it the other day for Jailhouse Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that was just... Yeah. Oh, I put Anastasia on.
Oh,
I
yes.
sat and
Yeah,
watched
yeah, yeah.
Anastasia. I really liked that film when I was younger. Really liked that
Yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the first time I've actually put a film on properly and sat down and watched myself from start to finish for ages, like a really long time. The one before that was a Hannah Montana film. But I'd never seen it. I'd never seen the Hannah Montana film before.
I think I'm starting to get where this magical pixie dust for films is coming from. I think we're starting to see a trend now. Hannah Montana movie, the Anastasia movie. I don't know. Starting to see that trend.
What's the trend?
Well, I mean, the trend is that they're all available on Disney Plus at the moment, but you know, we're not endorsed by them. But you know, so I think it's about time that we start wrapping up and rating Kung Pao. Into the. I think we need to
I
talk
was
about.
waiting for you. You're supposed to rate it.
Well, yeah. I think I need to. What was the favourite bit of the film? What was your favourite bit of the film?
My favourite bit of the film. My favourite bit of the film is when the idiot guy, or they make out that he's an idiot. Because like the old master says, we've trained him.
We deliberately trained him wrong as a joke.
We trained him wrong on purpose as a joke. And he stands up and he's like,
That's
if
so
you get an ass, I'll kick it. Because like his voice is so, like he's so dumb.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that so much. And
I
they
like-
have the intermission. They have the intermission in the middle of the film. And he just like advertising products and stuff. Oh, it's just so funny.
The
I got
intermission
some
bit
yellow
was
liquid for your
genius.
popcorn. And it's non-dairy too.
The intermission bit was very, very funny. I did like that. That was clever. I think that there were some lines through it that just really, really made me laugh. Like when she picks up the baby that's been tumbling down the
Yeah.
hill, just so cute. Walks over to the other side, lets it go again. Bye bye. Lets
Like
it go.
chucks it down the hill again. It's just I like this amount of silliness is like the exact level that I like. I don't go over to the Monty Python level. That is too much for me. That is
Okay.
just too over. It's just too it's too much. It gets on my nerves. But this is just like the just right amount of that's really silly. Oh, that's a bit stupid. But it's funny. Yeah, it's treading the line.
This is the peak like absurdist
Yeah, I
silly
think
humor.
So, yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Like the squeaky shoes bit. I like the
Why
squeaky
has he got
shoes
squeaky
bit.
shoes? It's just so funny. Oh.
I did like the narration every so often where it's like, at this point I had two choices. I could either duck out of the way and roundhouse kick him, or I could take the claw to the face and fall down dead. Man, I should have gone with option A. I like that bit because I thought that was funny. I was just like, yeah.
It's
you
just,
got two
I just
choices.
like observational comedy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
quite
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like, and it just makes me laugh that he's watched this film and he's like, why has he done that? Yeah, why is he banging on his back like that? Why is he doing that? And he's kind of taking the mickey out of it. I love that. I just love it.
I just keep swallowing butterflies.
What
Starts
are the
coughing.
odds?
What are the odds that would happen again?
It's just so funny.
This is how the rest of our night is going to go now. We're just going to be and this is the thing. You thought I didn't enjoy the film. I did. There we go.
No, I didn't think you didn't enjoy it. I just thought you were going to laugh a lot more than what I'd heard. That was all.
Well, the laughter is happening now,
Yeah.
and that's what matters.
Takes a little second to
It
get
does,
it, doesn't
does.
it? And then you start remembering, oh,
It
when he
does.
said that, and when he said that, and then
Yeah.
you realise I've just recited the whole film and it's all gold.
Yeah. Gold, solid gold, baby, from start to finish. So as we do every episode, solid gold, baby.
What's laughing at?
As we do every episode, the person that hasn't seen the film does get to give the film a rating, but every episode, what the rating is out of changes. So do you want to ask me what I need to hear?
what are you giving this movie, and what are you giving it out of?
I am going to give Kung Pao Enter the Fist a nice, solid 4 stars.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I dug this film. I dug not just the style of comedy in it, because there were some things in it that took me by surprise and made me laugh. And mainly, I do have to say, it's a lot of the guy's facial expressions.
Yeah.
Steve Odekirk's just, like, his reactions to things is like, okay, that's like...
I just love the voices that he's giving people.
It's just like little reactions here and there that I'm like, okay, that's quite funny. Like the way he reacted to something that he did, like he knew was gonna happen when he said like, "That's a lot of nuts."
Yeah.
And he reacts to that. It's like, okay, weird. I was like, okay, fine. Like it's crazy, but also how cleverly it was made. Like I can appreciate.
Yeah,
that
was a
took
good idea
effort.
as well.
So yeah, on those counts it gets 4 out of 5 for me. It's gonna be out of Gopher Chucks.
Ah, the little guys.
So it's gonna be 4 out of 5 Gopher Chucks.
Yeah.
Out of interest, what would you give it? I mean, the rating doesn't really count because you've already seen it. But what would you give it in theory?
I'd be giving it 5 stars because I just laugh constantly the whole time, and that's what I like. I like laughing. I just like laughing.
You just like to laugh a good
I
laugh.
heard somebody once say to me, and this might be true for a lot of people because I've heard similar things from other people kind of after this as well, since then. They said, if I'm watching something on my own, I can't laugh, or I don't laugh. If I'm sitting on my own and I watch something, I don't laugh. And I just think that's really bizarre. Is that weird? Because I laugh the exact same amount, whether somebody's there or not. If I'm watching this film on my own, I would be crying laughing at it.
If something really gets me, I will absolutely be laughing, and I'll be the only person in the room, and I don't mind. But generally, if I'm watching something, I won't. I like. Sometimes I feel like comedy has its best effect when it's shared. You know, if there's other people laughing with you, that makes you feel like you can laugh more.
Maybe.
You know?
I don't know.
I will still laugh if I'm by myself. But sometimes it'll range from like a... to like a...
No, I'll be like properly going for it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, well, I know that. So, there you have it. Kung Pao Enter the Fist gets 4 out of 5 Gopher Chucks from me. But what do you all out there think of this film? Was this a film that you caught on to really early on, when it was at the peak of its distribution and peak Matrix spoofing? Did you get a clip of it off the internet and then go and watch all of the rest of the film? Was this something that you watched at a party with all of your friends? Or is this a film that has completely passed you by and you now feel the need to watch for whatever reason? What film would you have on a t-shirt that you would rather be watching as your cinema-going t-shirt? And would you buy t-shirts from our show that said these kinds of things? We want to know your interest in our merch ability, I guess you can call it. So do interact with our podcast using our hashtag, and you can say merch yes or merch no, and let us know what you would like to see. And don't forget, you could be that one person that tips the scales and makes the official, unofficial Lizzie McGuire podcast a reality. The power is in your hands. But these can all be expressed to us using the hashtag BTTRpod on our social medias so that we know when we are being talked about on the internet. I am at Drew Bridger.
At Amberange.
Make sure to use that hashtag so that we know when we are being talked about. Amber, if the listeners have enjoyed this episode, what else should they do?
They should like, subscribe and review on your podcast service and rate 5 stars. Also follow at BTTR Podcast on Insta.
On in star. That's how many stars they should be giving. No, wait, that's only 4. Give us 5. What are you stingy for?
That was only 3. Star.
Oh, in star. Yeah. Give us more than that, you stingy what names? Honestly, come on. Don't forget to tell all of the people in your friends and family group about this podcast as well. Podcasts like this do live and die on word of mouth. If you're really cheeky, here's something you can do. Just download it straight onto their phone without them asking. It'll be a little surprise for them. Just go onto their phone, find out what their password is, go onto it, download it, leave it there for them to find. A little bit cheeky. Just do that. Why not? But until our next episode, when hopefully the heat would have died down a little bit and we don't have to have our fan going in the background. Whee! He's still there. Still cheering us on, our little fan. Until our next episode, Amber. That's literally all I could think to do. It's too hot to do anything else.